speaking seeds, sowing, harvest, reaping, man of me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Harama beef.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast is brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading funds the mental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Also, be sure to check out Mayat Son Teas, Divinely Prepared, the Tea of Teas. Also, be sure to check out all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Bay at bhbaymusic.com. For your everyday items and all of your religious regalia, be sure to check out moorishhaberdasher.com as well. For that everyday especial Moorish drip, be sure to check out moorsachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Designer Pros. And without further ado, we'd like to introduce to you Sheikh Kari Goodman Bay.
Peace, 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 and Islam. Love and light to everybody. How everybody doing today?
Excellent, excellent.
Peace. Doing great, Sheikh. How are you doing?
Magnificently so.
Yeah, I'm doing amazing, man. I'm still in Michigan. I'm in Pontiac right now at my partner house. I'm gonna be going to a library tomorrow. No, actually going to be going to that library Monday. I'm going to be picking up some documents. It's on Lafayette. It's one of the oldest bookstores out here, man. And they have so many pieces of history in there, Noble Dantes and Noble Brian. And it's just there collecting dust. So I'm going to go and purchase a lot of old documents of, antebellum time period, the time period what they call slavery or, indentured servants. Going to get documents historically and spiritually that's just sitting there collecting dust. And Dantes, they're $10 and $15. When I look them up on other platforms, they're $500 and $600 and $700. So the owner of the bookstore, he was like, sir, he's like, yes, when you come, I open it'll just be you. You could just take your time, go live, whatever you need to do. So I'm like, man, it's going to be amazing. Peace, Noble Alonzo. Come back with a lot of wisdom. And I tell brothers, the wisdom, the science is there for us. It's there.
It's long.
Sitting in our face. So do we do our Morris American prayer?
Nope, not yet.
Can we do our Morris American prayer, please?
With pleasure and honor. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Alakim, Ayah Asha'ayah, Hotep, Islam, Amen. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Man, it's so beautiful to see. That's why I like to see our faces, and if we can, and even if we can't, sometimes it's great to have a picture for people can see us and see this is who we are in real life. We wear all our different headdresses. You see Sheik with his turban on. You see Noble Dantes with his kufi on or his bonnet. Look at Noble Brian. You see the picture of Noble Alonzo, fez on. You might see Noble Barclay on here because his hair is longer. He got longer Samson hair. You'll see him with his turban on.
Yeah.
So you will see the plethora of culture in this cipher. And even what we bring to the table, when I say I'm always full of gratitude when brothers come, man, we're like a special group. Look what comes with what we bring to the table. Look how you have to be to come to the table. Because when you're dealing with social media, you putting yourself out there. I tell
Yes, sir.
everybody, you putting yourself out there for ridicule, you putting yourself out there for trolls, you putting yourself out there for people, no matter if they have good intentions, sometimes have bad intentions. You don't know how a person acts because it's social media per se. And look, and all I'm saying is, we're not here to change no one. We're here to show who we are. Look at what the Creator have done in your life, in our lives. So that's where I want to give homage to y'all, and especially this cipher and what we bring to the table. You know, look how much we have here as student ministers of the BPT. We got much more to go as student ministers. We got much more to bring to the table. Not only did we have Noble Dantes yesterday breaking book club, look at all the work we've been doing since we've been doing this work, y'all. I at least gotta show y'all our accolades. Look how many books we've been presenting to the world. So you imagine if a person took our a cipher and took our school and classes and took this to prison, and just this basic thing what we doing as elementary wisdom and bringing all this science to them brothers and breaking it down, man, this is like graduate school.
It's long.
Just a plethora of wisdom, Noble Dantes, the plethora of wisdom, the availability of wisdom is there. So that's why I tell people, man, we're breaking things down, Dantes. You know, I know, Alonzo know, Ryan know, that brothers may never even thought of. And that's good. That's a beautiful thing, to bring things to our brothers and sisters. That's showing us that nothing is new under the sun. That we are just as brilliant and maybe even more than the other. If it showing that you are the prototype, showing that wisdom can be spread, showing that men can come together, and we're not trying to X her out. So when I say it takes a certain type of person, it takes a real man or a real woman that can get on here and break things down in spite of. Because there's sometimes in your community in doing this, it's like damned if you do or damned if you don't. Sometimes you may feel it's not even worthy. I'll give you the analogy. A person was saying, man, I know how you feel with what you're doing, brother. It's the youth. It's the youth. I said, yes, it's the youth. But it's also how the youth are going to get what we're talking about if we don't know it ourselves and it be in our common nature, not only speaking it, seeing it. Not seeing us operating together, seeing us in our faith, seeing us, doing this, what we're doing. It has to be seen. The text say, I'd rather see a sermon than hear it. Let me see you. And not just seeing you, the seeing you is how you operate. The brothers you're dealing with. The influence you have over your empress, the influence you have over the brothers you around. And so that's what we bring here at the BBT. And then here it is, Noble Alonzo breaking down the Quran, breaking down the silent brotherhood of the East. And now today we're going to give people, I won't even say, some people will say is advanced studies as we jump around the seventh Adept chamber, which is divine ministry, which I'll be laughing at brothers Alonzo when I say it's in your Morris Quran and it's in your red book, they say, or the silent brotherhood of the East. That's why you have to know this and have to have a good map and a good guide and the manuals to know this. You know what I'm saying, Noble Alonzo? Am I right about what I'm saying?
Islam.
Anybody want to add anything as I'm going?
Islam. I absolutely agree. Just there's certain things that we have to present just to get certain conversations going, and to just introduce people to certain things that we probably never thought of right now as adults. Certain subjects that we think that we know something about maybe, but there's so much that we just don't know. And speaking for myself, I don't know it all. I'm a working in progress, just like the next Noble. We're reading and we're trying to understand the things, but we're a part of something. We're a part of this with the BBT, and we study together, and we have conversations and ciphers, and this is what we do. This is what is a part of life, and folks need to see it. So the book club that we do is great, and Adapt class and Sunday school. So different things that we're bringing to the table and showing the public. You just need to try to gravitate towards things and try to be a part of something, so that you could also understand, study, and understand that there's so much that you want to understand, that you need to get in you, and that it's going to take time. But being a part of something just introduces you to that lifestyle, and that's what I think we're bringing to the table.
Islam, gratitude, Noble Dantes, and and also I would like to add a little something to that as well, because just like when you was talking about yesterday in your book reading in Noble Dantes, and when you were talking about, I think I have to go back a little bit, but were you talking about politics a little bit as well?
Islam. So yesterday, the American form of government.
I'm acting like I don't know, but I know.
What
That's
is
why I
the
want you
American form of
to
government? That's what we were going over last night in book club. The election, the federal elections and state elections and everything's coming up. And the conversation this election cycle has been, like you always say, the Democrats and Republicans, they are fighting like Crips and Bloods. They're fighting like Crips and Bloods this season. A lot of it is entertainment. But there's things that you do want to understand for sure throughout the entertainment, because it's not, there's a lot of folks' lives at stake, and we think we know. So we need to figure things out and understand what's going on around us. It's not just what you see on TV, or at your church, or the things that you hear. You need to, really dig deep and try to study some things to understand, what is the American government? How are you involved in that? What is your relationship to that? And that's what we were kind of reading on last night.
Islam, Noble Dantes, and I'm glad I'm glad you said that, because I want to spark a conversation as my subtopic as we get into the Adapt teaching of the seven, as we go through the seven Adapt chamber, which is divine ministry, and we'll just touch on a couple sections of that document. But exactly, Noble Dantes, and that's what I talk to people today about. It's us as Moorish Americans, us as doing things the right way, understanding government and law. So if a person say they don't know something, well, let's have this dialogue. I'll give you an analogy and let's see who get the answer right. There's no wrong answer. If someone accusing you of something, you have to go to court and you say, well, man, I ain't do it, or etc, or you did do it, and you don't even go to defend yourself, then we know in the court of law, that means the person that don't show up to defend themselves in that battle loses, right?
Correct.
And I'm paraphrasing. Are y'all with me?
Yep. We went over that in Law Governs All Events.
Islam.
Okay. So if that's the case, brothers and sisters, we're looking at this. I have to say political arena, because we are Americans. We are citizens. We have to know how to do things. So when things be put in your face, documents that we are part of, and we don't know how can I say proceed, we have to now come back to the round table and say, wait a minute, what do we do? How do we do this? Like what should we be doing? Should I be participating? Should I not be participating? Why am I not participating? So it's so, how can I say it? It's a lot of dynamics that go with things in this world, especially dealing with more science, especially dealing with politics. Nobles, if y'all are really paying attention, do you see even in the state booklet, and I was showing y'all pictures of how the mayors and everything was signing the Declaration Proclamation, and y'all got the documents. So you don't think none of the mayors were swaying none of the those temples in that area to vote a certain way? You don't think so, y'all? Let's be reasonable.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because even in the time of the prophet, they had a governor or someone become a mayor. I forgot the exact name.
I was waiting. Come on, Brian. And yes. And I don't know the exact name neither. I have to go on my documents, but you're 100% right. They had a brother that they helped sway. You know, and when I tell people, I said, we're not ignorant people. We are we supposed to be in these political arenas. Look at it. Start looking at the religious laws. Start looking at in the misnomer black community, brothers, and say yes or no, because I know we can agree to it. Soon as political time, where do the politicians go in the community? Where do they go?
To the churches.
To the churches.
Because that's where the majority of the people are at, ain't it? That look like them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can definitely find a group of them will be in the churches. So
you might have never seen that political person, and you'll see that councilman or that prosecutor, attorney, or nothing. But soon as political time, where do those people in your community come? They come to your church, and they want to do what? They want your vote. Yep. But then you telling me you want to separate church and state? How? And you coming for my vote?
At the church.
I hear pastors preach from behind the pulpit, political, to vote for Kamala Harris. And then when I have these conversations, like Noble Dantes was saying, I like to have civil conversations. And a lot of times you can't have those conversations with our own type of people, especially when it's dealing with a lady and male, because right then it's an asterisk, right? Because then not only you ain't gonna have this and that against you, the color thing, you're gonna have the male ego as well. When I say ego, I'm not saying it in a negative connotation, but what I'm saying, it's a lot of men that just feel I'm not voting for no woman to be no president. Am I right about it?
Yep, I think they term that the battle of the sexes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I said it's some. I'm not saying it's all. Why I say that? Because I've heard men say this, Dantes. I've heard, I'm saying I don't have a dog in the fight. But I'm saying as a free American, it's certain things that we should do, and do it the right way, because we are visible. So Noble Dantes, that's what I'm saying about these political arenas. When casting your vote, which is one, to me, is an important thing in life. What are the benefits of you casting that vote? And when you're casting that votes, are you able to hold that person that you voted for accountable for their actions if those things that got them in office that they said they were going to do never ever occur? The flip. Thank you. Just like in Flint, you had the mayor office got a walk-in policy. So what I ask people, Noble Dantes, as pertaining to little piggybacking off your book reading yesterday, when we play this political arena, because a person of moral will say, "Oh, I ain't voting," but then say they woman will vote, they mom will vote, they dad vote. You know, all these people will vote. So what I'm saying is, because this is what the average misnomer black person will say today, and correct me if I'm wrong. We're black, and we're blacks, and we are Democrats. You heard that before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have we all heard that, Noble, Alonzo, Dantes, and Brian?
I have.
Okay, so if that's what's saying, well, we blacks and we Democrat, and this, that, and the other, and I say, okay, well, is it a black agenda? I just ask for the black agenda. That's all I ask a person for. Because if you're making a specific on a certain type of people, when you say black, white, or the Hispanic vote, this, and everybody have certain things, etc., even the LBGT or whatever, how you pronunciate it, even the other class of people, it's contingent on what they have,
Yeah, but I don't think misnomer black people have an agenda outside of um, skin color. You know what I'm saying? Because even if misnomer black people did have an agenda, where are they meeting to discuss said agenda? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the think tanks for this? Where are the conglomerates for this? Where are the other than the churches? Where is the conversation
It
being
ain't none. So what
had?
you saying, Brian? It ain't none because
Yeah,
it ain't.
yeah.
You know, they all talk about we're gonna lower taxes and this, that, and make houses cheaper, this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 and etc. Okay, those are general. I get that. But when people say we're black and we're this and we're Democrats, we doing all this. So you telling me it ain't no black agenda, Brian, to get a major group of people to sway a vote? So what are so it's no agenda. So no matter if it's Kamala or Biden, because you have to remember, Biden told misnomer black people that you're not black if you don't vote for me. He said it on Charlamagne the God TV show. He
He
said, "You're
did.
not black if you don't vote for me." Okay, then, well, when we deal according to science and law, don't black mean deaf? Yes or no?
Yes.
So the dress code law was never abolished. So number one, this man playing a game. And if Kamala a Democrat and she got to know that it's politics. Listen what I'm saying. And I'm saying it should be a bigger fight that we have going on than arguing over a political fight because most of us don't know what the what the political agenda consists of. Especially for my brothers and sisters, no disrespect, that may have that discussion in the household with their wives, and it might cause tension. Ask them, what's the black agenda? Ask anybody, ask your dad, ask your mom, what's the black agenda? I guarantee they're gonna start saying, well, we want no police brutality and we want this and that, but that's what you want.
Yeah.
It ain't nobody, ain't no, you see what I'm saying? And that I said, I know I want a whole bunch of things too. Brian do too.
Come on.
We said the black agenda as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? We shouldn't have no agenda. We want the police not to beat us up or kill us. That shouldn't be nothing that we should be having in no agenda with no president. That should already be law.
Mm-hmm.
This all Dantes. This is all I'll be saying in households, especially in our households. If a man and a woman is vote, Dantes over there smiling like he gets up because these is real conversations. That's why I said, man, we gonna go somewhere with this podcast. We gonna go somewhere with it. But I'm telling you, okay, Democrat and your wife said we black and why you don't want to vote for Kamala because she a woman and you like, I don't have no issue with that. But I say, okay, if it's an agenda, what is the black agenda? No one can tell you. They'll start talking about a whole bunch of personal things, but it ain't no agenda where they got, okay, well, for the black vote, the president said this, and that, the other. Only thing I heard the president say is you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Isn't that arrogant?
Yeah, and it seemed like most misnomer black folks are really just arguing or voting to make a staple for black history, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we have our first black woman president type thing, and it really doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It don't do nothing for, the misnomer black people, but it does something for black history, I guess, if you want to look at it from that aspect. But
And look, like I say, having conversations and looking at policy and comparing policies and when people win office or when these particular people in office, and then listening to how people talk. No disrespect. Most people that work for a company that have no disrespect, a European, an Albion, a Trilodike, whatever you want to call it, old people, they probably talk like Donald Trump behind your back, or probably out loud. You just not in that circle.
facts.
You know,
Facts.
that circle. So if they all have positions, and I always throw this to people, this is the conversation I have. If they all say, man, come get this money, I'm gonna pay you X amount of dollars, 100, 300, 400, 500 times more than you making at your job. Come make it for me. And then you hear him calling black people all type of niggas, and they ain't nothing but spit and blah blah blah. I bet you ain't gonna quit your job.
Yeah, most people would.
Most people, ain't nobody gonna quit their job. They not. Because they go with that. I'm saying on the average, they say, well, it ain't affecting me none.
Yeah, what is this? How's this gonna change my life? They helping me out. You know what I'm saying?
You see? So you see the
They've been
psychology.
pandering to the black male. There's a
And look,
there's a TV network where they had some type of male, it was like a male black summit, where they were kind of asking them these questions and on one of the networks, and they were just kind of pandering to the black male. They call it the bro vote is what they're trying to get now. So with the black male, they're making it out to be something that it's not. And I guess what I was just going over yesterday was just the basics of what we need to understand with the broader conversation. But the basic for me is if they're putting popular vote on the screen and that, so what are you actually doing? Is my, that's the conversation that I have. You being you, who you are, when you're voting, who are you? What is your vote? Because they say popular vote a lot. So what's the difference between the two? Do we understand that? So do we understand our involvement with the process?
okay, so this is what I be telling people, that these conversations is had in academia when I said I was able to be a part of the scholars roundtable and dealing with political science. First, it's understanding how the process of voting works and how the electoral and how it's certain states that can sway a vote per se. So you're absolutely right, Noble Dantes. To be a great basketball player, I will hope you know the rules. I will hope you have an idea of what's travel, what's not travel, what's foul, what's carry. So I hope as a person that's dealing with a particular science, to do what? Study the rules. So when you know the rules, you might not be per se. Follow what I'm saying. I'm using a basketball as a skill, but you will know the rules and you will know how to navigate. You will be able to see. Because I never tell nobody what not to do. Because the prophet said we're gonna leave the so-called European here long enough to build a government. When he say that, he's just talking about using the European as a class of government. Particular time doing suffrage, and when they wanted you to vote, and they only wanted you to vote to sway them over. That's maybe a time then. But even when you have misnomer Negro, blacks, and colors, that's under the Bar Association and attorneys and etc. They still too have an understanding of what we're saying. What we must do is stay fast. So Noble Dantes, to add to that political question that you were saying, when a person say, "Well, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican," it's just like saying, "You a Christian per se, or you a black Mason, or you a black this, or you a black that." Because with Democrat, you got to remember, it's supposed to be a black thing, right? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the narrative they was spinning for it. That's for sure.
Thank you, Brian. So we just having a conversation. So and according to science and law, black mean death. We talking, and only way to be who we are and to get anything, reparations of anything, is wrapped up in law, because we know law governs all events. So we know, dealing with nationality, according to science and law, black mean death, and blacks would never get no reparations. Never. The Dred Scott Law was never abolished. So until we have a conversation on the narrative of this black thing and understand who we are and be fighting for our nationality, our race, our status, and make that and cast our ballot as free men. I broke this down, who we were as free men, and understand how that works. Or even have your own brother in these political arenas when you're dealing with local law, state law, federal law, and then going to the next level. If the situation may be, if you have those brothers and sisters that's under your tutelage, that's astute, and go to those endeavors, I will hope you have people like that. That's the clock of destiny. And this is what I tell brothers and sisters. This more science and not a whole bunch of idiots on the internet who talk about they the reincarnated of Noble Drew Ali. Who the hell want to be the reincarnation of somebody? The prophet said, be yourself. Last time I checked, Why the hell I want to be the reincarnation of somebody else? That don't even make no sense. So I'm telling you, I'm teaching you how to be yourself. I'm teaching you how to be something freedom, something that no European, no politician, no lawgivers will have a problem with what I'm saying. Because I'm not talking about overthrowing no government. I'm telling you, if we can agree, anybody, I don't care what color they are, according to science and law, does black mean deaf? In this context, they're gonna say yes. Well, why would I even use any words that they denote or even connect myself to anything that's according to slaves or that are identified as slavery? And then use that same thing in the political arena. That don't even make sense. Because people that don't have their own human rights, you only got civil rights, something that an individual gives to you. Our conversation should be what? Understanding who we are as a people, as one body. That should be the whole. Then having an understanding in this political arena. And if you vote, if you a group of people and you can sway a vote Noble Bryan this way or that way, it got to be contingent on some variables. What we need this. If misnomer black people all say they some slaves or they some indentured servants, well then if that's the case, well indentured servants they get reparations according to the law.
It's on.
They need to be repaired according to the law.
Yeah, but it has to be restored to their
So this is the conversation, Dantes, that I'm having, and we won't have. Even our empresses, and I'm just saying it because I'm talking about things. They'll say, "Oh, misnomer black men, they prejudice. They don't want to see a woman in power." That's crazy. I promote women in power. That you part of the cipher. If the mind right, the same way with the man. But it's just like, listen, man, we don't do things just because to say. It's like me when I say I don't have a dog in a fight. Why would I vote for anything that I feel it doesn't? It's meaningless. If not, I'm not going to do some things on a lower level. If I'm not going to have a clear understanding of things, and if I cast my vote with this group, I don't even talk to the group to say what do we need as a group of people. So what's the purpose of voting? I'll wait. What's the purpose of come on, misnomer black people? What's the purpose of stumping on the street? Black Lives Matter. After you Black Lives Matter, and I said, I don't care if you get Ben Crump as your attorney. Ben Crump, no, he know that no black person, no reparations. Only thing that you're gonna get is litigation. Y'all know
And
what
what do you
litigation is,
mean?
don't you?
Like what do you mean when you say so? It's so. What are we talking about? You're gonna do something for black people, and this cycle here, this season, I feel like this is this season here of the the races and political races. To me feels different because they, I feel like they're really pandering the black vote this season.
Yes.
uh, this election cycle is totally different to me this season for some reason. It just is. But at the end of the day, what do you mean black? Who's black? It's supposed to be a group of people. It's a body. And if you go back to it, like we've been talking about the science of black, that's not a body. That's not a nationality. So it's fake, made up, false, and this group of people, what we're saying is a group of people, they don't understand that they're not a group of people, and that, what do you mean black? Who
Hey,
qualifies as
Dantes.
black?
I don't mean to cut. Dantes. I think they do. No, because it's a lot of brothers. Like I said, I don't want to never put no elders down. But if anybody come on my page and they try to back them up, I'm gonna start saying their names, and I bet you they ain't gonna say none because they know they don't want none. A lot of our elders play that game because of no disrespect, because a lot of them are Freemasons, so they
Well,
own
yeah,
that black.
they're in those
No
groups.
disrespect, man.
Is
Listen,
on.
Richard Pryor was a lower level Mason in Peoria. All over our most of those scholars back were lower level Masons.
Yeah, those leaders,
Carter
they
G. Wilson, lower level Masons. All of them, Dr. B, no disrespect, a lot of them were lower level Masons. A lot of them said they went beyond of their oath and said, I'm gonna do what I want to do and break away. But a lot of them would to a certain level and drop it off, especially when it's dealing with politics. Because Noble Bryan, if we had all our scholars back then that's dead and gone, Dr. Ben, Power Knowledge, Claude Anderson, all those brothers that's speaking like this, clearly something wrong then.
Say that one more time. I hear that last part.
I said, if we don't have all our scholars and elders to speak how I'm speaking on these political things, and like Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, all Dr. Cress Wilson, all our educators to speak how I'm speaking, and we still haven't understood this, that means you got to tell me it don't have to do with no one that don't look like you. It has to do with your own keeping you a foot on your neck by pacifying you. Because the only thing black people is getting, think about it, Noble Dantes, Noble Brian. Black people want welfare so bad. And when I say it, they want something from the government instead of an equal field. Instead of saying that, line me up at the line with everybody else, because we done worked on we done conditioned, our mind right, our body right. We know we gonna win. But what Negroes want is a handout. So when you get a handout from a government, you know what now? You're a willing obligor, to the government. You shouldn't want no welfare. You shouldn't want no cheap housing. What you should want? You should want an equal to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like the European Jews did. I understand things was given, but you want an equal playing field. You want to understand who you are, your nationality and anything, for you can look up your family land patent. Because these are things that I teach when I talk about allodial deeds. I ain't talking about no home that no bank built. I'm talking about land. This is when I break things down from an understanding that these are the conversations we should be talking about way before just sucking down to a Democrat party. No disrespect to no one. When a lot of us don't understand about trust funds, and a lot of us have deeds, and I tell people, well, a deed is litigation. It's so much that we should have to should be talking about, Noble Dantes, because again, you can't sit up here with a straight face and say, okay, it's a black agenda. It can't be one. The Dred Scott law was never abolished. Hell, that was on jeopardy, Noble Dantes. So what you're saying is absolutely right. It don't matter. No politician get in front of your face talking that goofy stuff. Man, you got to look at them sideways when they talk that black African-American stuff. Some of them say some good things to make you feel good at a particular point. You know, they all do, Noble Brian. But then when they gun-ho with that black thing, you got to stop them. I have to stop in my tracks.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand what the Dred Scott law not being overturned really means. And it translates, or it would mean that, you know, the black people still, not only do they not have rights, but they are considered 3/5 of a human being. You know what I'm saying? Which means their vote isn't even a whole vote. And why would that be? At the time when that happened, their vote was considered 3/5 of a vote to give the being powerless Southerners at that time, who really didn't have that much power, to kind of equal it out with the North. You know what I'm saying? So they could use their quote unquote indentured servants or slaves as leverage to vote. You know what I'm saying? So if you still consider black, they kind of still doing the same thing today, but it's just not specific to the Southerners. It's all politicians. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to get the quote unquote black vote. You know what I'm saying? For their, you know, so they can sway and swing their political agenda. But there is no black political agenda. Everybody's trying to use quote unquote black people or misnomer black people as leverage, except for the black people themselves. They're just being used as leverage.
Right. Islam. Because see, when they start, it's some things that some of them black proud brothers say. One of the brothers that said he was gonna open up a school. Y'all know who that brother is. But
yeah,
when and some things he say when they try to throw misnomer black people off, when they say this is something for they make a class of brown, and that excludes you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're talking about every other class and you are excluded. So this is what I'm saying. Ask all my brothers and sisters. We should be asking questions. We should be asking these politicians when you're doing things. I'm not telling nobody to vote or Democrat or Republican, but I'm saying why we should be having these conversations. And then when we have these conversations, if we don't understand and agree as a group, Noble Brian, as a body, then we got to bring these questions up to those people that want our votes. You telling me you can't, you don't have no time? We got a body of people that can sway a vote. We got hundreds of people, and you telling me you can't come speak to us about what's going on, especially locally?
Yes,
This is what I'm saying. So what's the purpose of voting if you look at it as it's meaningless? If especially today, if most brothers on here say they Moors and they not Negro, Black, and color, African American, all those things, I get that. And then I'll throw it back as we go to the next topic. I just want anybody to give me any explanation. If everybody, your mom, our dads, whoever, Black people, this, that, and the other, and we Democrats, what is the Black agenda? Can anybody give me the Black agenda that you saw on TV?
Yeah, I myself, I can't do it. I don't know. I'm out of the loop.
Gratitude, Noble Brian. You, Dantes?
Well, I remember Ice Cube had that Black agenda.
Yeah, okay. I get you. I knew you was gonna go there, but we ain't talking about Ice Cube. we talk. I'm 100% with you. Ice Cube did. Ice Cube did. I know exactly what you said, but they rejected it. Didn't they?
They didn't want to talk to him.
Okay, then all right then. So
talk to him. Not the party that's supposed to represent the blacks.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about any politician. We talk about this presidency that's running, that wants your black vote. What is their Black agenda? And we said the rapper Ice Cube got one. And we have to stoop to say the rapper Ice Cube got one. And he ain't even a politician. Hell, we got one too. If you want to say that, it's enough of us. We can come up with some of the same things and even better, because we'll be able to educate Ice Cube. Have you noticed none of them are talking like how we're talking? Nobody. Isn't that ironic to you? You think people that just stupid, or we that smart? Or it's a game?
It's a game. It's a game.
Okay then. Okay. All right then. We would have been viral if we was on here acting a fool, if we was on here getting arrested. We would have been viral. We would have been on all other people's pages.
Yeah.
Understand? I know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, JT.
Black thing is that so it'd be complicated to do like the thing was saying. I mean, if you know who you are, it's hard to really go outside of that.
It's a game.
Those who don't know.
No, but Dantes, you could take what you know and go to the courts and rest your case, and there would be no rebuttal. Only thing they can say is, I don't like his feds. Or the misnomer black people can say you arrogant. But that's their thing, because there's no light in them. That's just your confidence, and you standing erect. And you stand like that. You can take what you know on these topics and you can rest your case. And it would be no rebuttal. You know? And so somebody said on here, peace. A lot of misnomer blacks are not voting out of fear of racist rhetoric. We know we should not operate out of fear. Tell people that all day. I know Europeans I grew up with and talk like that. I know misnomer black people talk like that. But I can tell you this. I know. Hold on. Let me text my daughter back. Hold on. Sorry about that. I know before Trump was running for the president, all the rappers had him in his video, all in a video. I can tell you that. I'm old enough to know that. I'm old enough to know that. I'm old enough to know. I showed y'all when Jesse Jackson had him at that meeting and he was praising Trump because Trump supported him when he was running for president. I showed y'all that, didn't I?
Yeah, they got Kodak Black supporting Trump.
So I'm not saying vote or a person rhetoric. The average person that's that old and look like that with a certain amount of money is probable, and it's more probable that they feel the same way, especially if they're a good old boy. No disrespect to no one. What I'm saying is we operate on feelings, and all I ask our brothers and sisters, if we can sit down and have a conversation and know according to science and law, black mean death, and understand these things, then there's some more conversations that we have to have as a people. That's all I'm saying, man. Bro, this is when we're dealing with this political game. Because yeah, it's a whole different temperature, Dantes. It's a different that's going on right now. You know? And when we don't operate in the affairs of men, especially as groups of brothers and sisters, I think that's we a disservice when we avoid things. You know,
It's long.
I really do. Well, especially, it's like if you don't understand, it's like a person that don't know something, they are diss it. That shows the lack of wisdom of that individual instead of wanting to learn and be in the affairs of men, because we need to be in the affairs of men. And it goes way beyond just voting for the president. It goes on voting local, state, federal, voting on law and policy. Just like in the state of Arizona, certain things was illegal, and I just used marijuana and open carrying and all those things. So with the power of the vote of the people in that area, in that geographical area, or sometimes when it just goes down to a community, when the people vote that live in those areas, things can get done. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to be smart about these situations when I be talking to brothers. So, like I said, I hope everybody understand what they're doing this year with their vote. Bring up some questions, because to say the misnomer black people don't have money, and in a weekend, a couple of days, they raised how many X amount of dollars for the Democratic Party for Kamala? Y'all saw how many millions was raised, and a lot of that, and I say a lot of that came from a lot of our empresses. And you say what, Noble?
She raised $1 billion.
$1 billion. And a lot of and a lot of that stuff came from sororities. A lot of that stuff came from our empresses. A lot of that, and a lot of that came from the household.
Let's
so
see, what is that? Where is that money when it's time for? Oh, no, not to cut you off, but okay. What about when when your son need to go to school, your daughter need to go to school, all your community's doing bad? Where are these funds then? You know what I'm saying? Not for a political party, because it's just a different type of party. It's just a political party. It's not a house party. It's a political party. You know what I'm saying? So we good at throwing monies for parties, but what about for the home, for the family?
See, it gets deeper. It gets so deep than that, because the government has been structured in our community, the daddy of the household. The government, the mentality of a woman don't need that a man. The mentality of if a woman have a baby by a man, you can get X, Y, and Z, cheap housing and all this. But what if it ain't none of that for a woman to have? And then they say, well, give the kid to the father, or y'all raise it together. We're not going to get involved in that, or make better choices with the men you have children with. It's so many variables of why those things happen when we do how can I say, when we don't take advantage of what we should be doing, because we're not poor. Noble Brian, is what I'm telling people. If money can be raised for a political party that fast, you just got to imagine what can be done. That money can change agendas. Why? Because then we're talking about what? Income. We're talking about jobs. $1 billion. We're talking about you could take over a whole certain area that's shut down, like out there where Dantes live, or come to the city of Flint, and a group of people, which I call the Great Migration, is going to an area and taking it over. It can be done. With that type of money, it can be done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. As far as if that would be a part of the agenda. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have a quote misnomer black agenda, that should be a part of the agenda. You know what I'm saying? How about we try to get back to our original structure of our home, so we don't need government assistance, so we can minimize some of these what's the word, iniquities. You know what I'm saying?
Brian, because structure and organization, like the churches are not how it used to be. Remember, I was talking about the only thing misnomer black people own is their churches and their so-called schools. Our schools supposed to be in our churches. So we're not providing, those things are not being provided anymore. It's not happening. You go to church over. Well, okay, well, where are the after school activities? Where the tutoring, the real estate classes? Hell, where the fathering classes? Where the health and wellness classes? Where the reading classes? Where the brotherhood classes? Where the workout classes? Where the mentoring? So it's no structure. And that's what I tell people. We have to get back to structure.
It's fine.
Just not, if when we say we don't need the government, the only way we don't need the government if we come together. understanding what I'll be telling us, that we're attacking the federal government, religious, charitable, scientific, educational wise. We all give something. We can own things. Our religious body can own things. It's certain ways when we structured and y'all structured at Divine Ministers, you're in a different tax bracket. Homes can be in a different tax bracket. Vehicles can be under a different tax bracket. We come together and we barter, we put our money together. That's how things can be done. Understanding we don't have to give our money to Uncle Sam because when we talk about that thing, it's going to take finances. Just imagine if everybody understand what we be saying and what I be saying and what we understand and actually do what we know we can do. It'll already be done. We talk about millions of dollars. We talking about millions of dollars. Hell, my homeboy said if people help the brother raise $250,000 to open a school and it never happened, and then people still rocking with him, damn, that should give you all the confidence, Sheik, because you're not a scammer. You ain't cut like that. You already have a school. I said, yeah, that sound good, but things can be done in a proper manifestation. How? By things that's been in order. The church has been doing it. Anybody been doing it? We're under a different tax bracket. We are a body. And if you understand how the temple is set up, you will understand this. We the people in the community, we can barter with each other. We can have our own guards. We can have our own houses. And the great migration, you see a group of people moving to another area, just like the European Jews, they take over a whole area in New York and buy up all the brownstones. Just like Europeans or misnomer Chinese have Chinatown, and they have all the hair stores, and they own everything. Just like in the misnomer neighborhoods, I'm from Flint, Michigan. Most of the liquor stores and corner stores are owned by misnomer Arabs. Yeah. We own nothing in our neighborhood. You can the misnomer black neighborhood is the only neighborhood you can go in where a lot of houses are raggedy and burnt up and abandoned. And you got councilmen, the city councilmen and mayors. And then you could be living next to a house that's been burnt up and abandoned for 20 damn years or 10 or 15 years. Ain't that a beat? Only in the misnomer black community. So you tell me what's the benefits of the black community? What's happening? Because when you go in the urban communities, if I take y'all in the misnomer black neighborhood and where I grew up in, it looked like Beirut. It looked worse than misnomer Iraq, where a damn third world country, World War been in, because you got abandoned and raggedy plated houses. Ain't that a bleep? Ain't that a bleep? So, and until we understand that, instead of taking our dollars and moving out the community, we should be figuring this stuff out as a group of body, as brothers saying, man, we can go take over a whole area. We can be homeowners. We can own this own block. This can be our religious block. This can be our religious community. Damn, all our nobles stay on one side. We got all our businesses on one side. That's lawfully. Religious community, religious neighborhoods is legal and lawful. This is what we have to understand. So until we get like that again, and especially and teach our empresses that you don't need nothing from the government, you don't need no fake milk. The Lord, Allah, God, whatever you want to call it, created you to feed your baby with your breast. I mean, your baby ain't no cow.
Real.
And so there's so many variables that I feel we need to get back. And the first thing is to get the misnomer black man and misnomer black woman back together on one accord. To get that, that's really Noble, Brian, Dantes, Alonzo, and myself. That's really the key. Because in our science, in more science, being submissive is the man and the woman come together as one, 100. And so it's some misunderstanding that need to be corrected, you know? And so for myself, we must have a clear understanding on law, on science and history, spirituality, who we are as a people, individually and collectively, and be able to come in these ciphers and do it the right way and respect each other. That's the only way. And until the households come back together, until the woman stop looking at the man as the enemy, and the man looking at the woman like she trying to be the boss of me, and we understand that we both feed off each other, I think this world will be a better place, because the world need us. They need the man and the woman sitting on the throne. That's they need to see us being honorable and respecting our empresses and being nobles. They need to see turbans and fezzes in the city streets. They need to hear us how we explain in this science, and we're not biased on no spirituality, because we respect and obey all the laws and the prophets. We need to have these conversations to talk about politics and say, okay, well, if you're saying this and that and the other, why? What you mean why? It should always be a why. When we're dealing with these things, when you want someone vote, when you're knocking on somebody's door, when they want to put signs in your yard, We should know this. What are you going to get? And if you feel you're not getting nothing, then you have, if you want to be in the arena of politics and casting your vote, you should be able to go in those arenas and your voice be heard of.
Islam.
That's all I got to say with it. We're not gonna have enough time to get into the adapt. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll save that for class tomorrow. I just wanted to get this in everybody's head because it came to me. Holy Spirit was like, no, let's talk about this because, voting is coming up. It's in the next few days. I don't want nobody to make a decision like force or Sheik said to do this. No, Sheik ain't said nothing. Sheik said, make a good decision. And if you honorable and if you understand what you're doing, you're going to make the best decision. You know it and I know it. Why? Because all of y'all are noble. And no matter what decision you make, you're doing it from sincerity. You're not doing it to hurt no one heart. You're doing it from sincerity. But we always should ask. And that's where I leave. That's where I leave it today, man. I challenge all my brothers and sisters. Don't just vote just because a person is black, or don't vote just because the person is man. Because I know a lot of when the political time was going on, a lot of misnomer black people voted for Hillary Clinton. A lot of misnomer black men. All you got to do is look at the stats. And I know what people don't look at that because they don't know where to look to see. But those things can be found. What I'm telling us is we have to really start researching things and having these ciphers and saying, okay, well, this, that, and the other. And if you want the so-called vote, what's the black agenda? Because respect people for talking how they talk, like Biden. Biden told y'all, he said, y'all ain't black if you don't vote for me. He told you. What that mean? That's what I mean. You ain't black. What you mean? If vote for me and they find out you ain't black if you don't vote for me. What do that mean though? What do that mean?
It's a catch-22. That means it's like you are willing obligor to being black if you do vote for me.
Yeah, it's that don't work. It's an oxymoron. It's a catch-22. It's a Masonic game. That's what I tell people. And when we get to talking about that Masonic thing, that's why I say a lot of our brothers and sisters, they Masons. That's why a lot of them play games. I know a lot of Mason brothers. That's Christian preachers. I don't have no problem with them. But if they know the history of science and what I'm talking about, it's a certain level of understanding that we don't do. That's why the misnomer Mason brother look at other brothers as perverse. Look at as nothing. They know it. You know it, and I know it. Even they children. And so we're talking about a brotherhood, bringing something back to us and having these conversations to bring to those that want our votes. They did it when the prophet time, when those politicians, when the mayor and all those people wanted the prophet votes, they came to the prophet. The prophet was like, well, it's going to be contingent on some variables. Why? We want to know what's available in this community. Hey, we might need these buildings. We might need this. There's some things that need to be done. If we accounted for as a people, we need to know what's available for this group of people. Understand these things. If not, what's the purpose of voting for a party? Because a party means, hell, we finna have fun. It's somebody's birthday. But that man, I'm getting ready to see my daughter, man. Yeah, my daughter's bringing my grandson over here. I'm over my partner, my cousin's house. So y'all know I'm a grandpa, so my daughter finna bring my grandson over.
It's long.
But I challenge us, man. Read that document that y'all got. We're gonna go over some of that tomorrow. It's pretty good.
Islam.
Like
Read
some
that
things.
document. Read
Islam.
that document. Two times.
2 times. And I tell brothers, one of my homeboys said, he was like, Sheik, you share everything. I said, I have to. I said, I don't hold nothing. I said, I'm gonna share everything with my brothers. I said, because we have to be able to dialogue. We have to see why people operating in good and why people being abused. People like, oh, they being abused. Why? Because you don't have nothing to compare to. And when you're doing something wrong and you don't know it's wrong and nobody on it, man. And then when you get the truth and you don't correct it, I have issues with that. So that's why I tell brothers a certain way to do things. If we say we Moors and we respect the noble Drew Ali and we respect order and we respect a certain type of tradition, doing things a certain way, asking questions. If this is that, then let's sit down and have reason because we are in the flesh. And like I said, it's right now, brothers and sisters, if y'all don't know nothing about voting or things, I think I gave you a small introduction. You know, just know you're not Negro, Black, and color, African American. Sit down, think about things. Do you want to do things? Do you not want to do things, and why you don't? Because nobody can sit up here and say that none of the vanguards in the time of the prophet, they can't sit up here and say they know for 100% that none of them brothers voted for mayor or president or local. No one can say well, we know they didn't, because I'm sure that they did. Come on, man. I'm sure that they did. It's just like the game out here where these Moors say we don't pay taxes. And y'all, any more should know that's hogwash. Any more, you live in the neighborhood, in the community, you know the local and the state laws trump that. You paying taxes, you paying property taxes. You know this. Because I done showed y'all that here it is, peace be among these people that's dead and gone. But when I told y'all, if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. And so the temple is the people that's in the building. So you can't lie on the prophet. But when them people be saying that we don't pay taxes and they having their people taxes, that's the people that's not right. Because the more assigned to love America, we got a tax ID. We got a tax ID number. So I want to be clear and listen to that and understand why the religious law is so powerful as pertaining to who we are. And when I say casting your ballot as a free person, you know, and a lot of time when I say voting for law and policy, when the time present itself, and asking questions as we go on. So, do we got any questions, man?
No questions, but just, gratitude. It's good that, we decided to have this discussion today with, the lectures and everything coming up next week. Just continue to study and look into, what we're doing. And like you said, ask that question, if you want a particular people's vote, what's the Black agenda is what we should be asking us a question. What's the Black agenda? What does that look
Yeah,
like? Doing?
you got to ask that. And if a person get mad and get the snot out their nose, you just got to walk away and be like, see, and it's nothing. They say, okay, well, what's the Black agenda? You can't have a Black agenda. If you understand this, you can't. If you can be honest, you be like, man, you can't have a Black agenda. Why? Because according to science and law, Black mean death. Isn't voting pertaining to courts, science and law? Voting is pertaining to science and law. So according to science and law, Black means death. I mean, what are we talking about? Silver mortis. We know this. We know these things, and we steady playing this game. Like it's crazy. It's insulting. As I close, just like one of the brothers with the keys, and the brother said, "Oh, we smart. We Black men. We know the law." How can you say, "Well, we smart. We Black men. You know the law"? That clearly tells you your intellectual level is nowhere. Because according to science and law, Black mean death. Yes. Put dead in front of everything you know. If that you say Black, dead Black man, dead man. Black bank, dead bank. Black brotherhood, dead brotherhood. You know it and I know it.
Mm-hmm. Black vote.
Dead vote. Dead vote. You know it and I know it. Think about it. Like Brian said, wrap your mind around it. And that's the thing about us. We as adults are afraid. And that's being afraid. And to beat up on our brother, but afraid to stand up for who you are and say, wait a minute, man, and be just as passionate as that, as you'll be ready to crash out for a political party. You ain't gonna crash out to knowing who you are. The religious laws trump this. If we understood that, we'll be able to make a difference. Just like when the census come, misnomer Black people fill out African American, or they'll make a box and say other, and you avoid the whole document out. If you understood and you know, if you come to class, you will know what to fill out because you on there. If you know how to read, but you know, and I know most of us haven't even read or thought about that until we came here. We haven't even understood what the SF 181 form was pertaining to ethnicity. Never even thought of that. But now it makes so much sense, and it should. And if we all knew this, even our babies, the ones that that's working, that's operating, that can ask this in classes and academia like I did, they can change the world.
As long.
They can change the world. So let's keep
being
on.
a map and a guide.
Yes, man. You say what, Noble?
Gratitude for being a map and a guide.
Man, gratitude for y'all being my brothers and muftis and ministers, man. Like minds attract.
Much
I give
gratitude.
y'all gratitude, man, and honor. But let's read that document and get familiar with it. So tomorrow we can all have dialogue. It's going to go with it, and then go back in your Moore's Quran. If the seventh Adapt chamber is divine ministry, go through it. Go through that document, read it, and go in your silent brotherhood of the East. Watch how it all lines up. Some of the stuff you're gonna be like, yep, this can be put to the side because this is personal. You can deal with the science of it. And that's what we do when we compare and contrast. We deal with the science. We deal with the science. We deal with the science. That's where we can't be biased, you know?
Yes, Lord.
So gratitude, man. I love y'all, man. Let's do our Morris American prayer. And then our benediction. If nobody don't have nothing, we out of here.
Yes, Lord.
Wow.
So, I mean, one thing I can say from personal is just get informed. Because what I had to do is just check out a sample ballot and see what all was on it. And that kind of helps. So, nonetheless, Allah.
What you say, Ryan? Say that again, Noble.
Only insight I could provide was, from especially coming from myself, is to get informed, because it was a lot of stuff about what was going on, the voting process and what was on the ballot that I didn't know. So I just got a sample ballot and I went over it, and it just made things a little bit more clearer, and it made it a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? So
Islam. I agree. Get informed. Get informed. Get informed, y'all. So we can do things that's the right way. We can do things pertaining to the law, because we all in the law, in the Constitution. When we use the law, we understand that we operate as a body, understand the religious laws trump everything. Then you be like, wait a minute. I understand the religious laws do trump everything. Think about it. Think about it. Nobody can deny that. And the laws, the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. Remember, you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it, and to claim a child replacement certificate. No one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. And to claim a child replaces the birth certificate. That's the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. Don't you ever forget about that. Think about that as we go on and as we continue to add on to this cipher. Islam, peace.
Wow.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom, our King, Ayah Ash'ayah, Hotep, Islam, Amen. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace. Our talisman benediction reads as follows. May the benediction of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shalt strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the locks of the gates of paradise by the means of petty or criminal death. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hand. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconstancy, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, Al-Haq, Ya Muhammad. And at the BBT, when we say Al-Haq, that's one of the illustrious attributes of Allah, and it means the truth. And when we say Ya Muhammad, that's another illustrious attribute of Allah, and it means the protector. We at the BBT see ourselves as truth protectors, and we cast our net out to all true and divine light seekers to come and join on to us, for the truth has no sides. For the truth is one, as man is with Allah. And with that, we say peace and love. Islam,
Long.
peace,
Islam,
peace,
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 peace, peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace.
Please.
love,
Peace and love and
love,
honor to y'all
gratitude and love,
niggas.
Gratitude.
Gratitude and
honor,
love.
gratitude.
Love y'all.
And once again, this broadcast is brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. Also brought to you by bondedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get your teas, the Mayat Sons teas, divinely prepared, the tea of teas, at herbsofmayat.com. And check out all of the musical stylings by Brian Hicks Bay at bhbaymusic.com. And for your everyday items and religious regalia, we have for you morrishaberdasher.com. Also, for your everyday especial Morris drip, be sure to check out morsachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I